a little bit about yourself to our guests, to our audience. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, sir? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Basil Okoh. I come from Agbo in Delta State. I schooled in Agbo, primary and secondary school, and also at Bayrou University, Kano. I did a graduate program in communications at the University of Lagos. That's me in a few sentences.
Thank you, Mr. Okoh. Our guests will like to, and the audience, they would like to know a little bit more about your professional life, your career in journalism.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I started journalism. Journalism has always been the profession of choice for me. I started journalism as a corper, youth corper in Calabar, in Nigerian Chronicle, Calabar, under the editorship of Ray Ekbu at the time. When I finished youth service in 1981, I moved on to join, to be part of the startup team of The Triumph. The Triumph was a newspaper published in Kano. It was a leftist paper. As at that time, it was the only leftist paper in Nigeria. It was published from Kano. And later, I was a special correspondent of The Triumph, and later the Lagos editor of The Triumph. I moved from there to publish, to edit tropical farming and food processing magazine for a short while. I did a lot of work for some French newspapers and magazines. And then later, I published the Niger Bazaar, a newspaper circulated in the Niger Delta area. I have been writing for all the papers in Nigeria, practically every single one of them, combining with other things, particularly in communication consultancy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, Mr. Okoh. We are in a place in Nigeria. There is one of the reasons why I brought you on is I wanted to have a chat with someone with so much experience in the Nigerian political terrain dating back to those days, and I'm glad we have you here. There is so much going on in our country today that I don't even know where to start from. However, there are two major issues that everything centers around in our country today. And one of it is the insecurity that we are experiencing in the past, I mean, in Nigeria now, and our politics. Those two things, I think, they're intertwined.
Insecurity and what?
And politics.
Okay, go ahead.
Politics. Yeah, I said those two things are intertwined. So, first of all, where are we in Nigeria, in your own estimation and your view? Where are we in Nigeria today regarding this issue of nationhood?
The issue of what?
Nationhood.
The issue of what?
Nationhood. Nation.
You are not clear here. The issue of insecurity?
Okay, yes. What do you think about insecurity?
Okay. The insecurity issue in Nigeria is contrived. It's not real. The insecurity issue is because the forces, the Nigerian military forces and police formations are deeply compromised. In 1982, Muhammadu Buhari was the GOC of the 3rd Division, sorry, of the 2nd Division based in Jos. He was a GOC. He was there was an incursion into the Northeast from Maiduguri and Biu. There was an incursion by Chadian forces into Nigerian territory. And President Shehu Shagari ordered Muhammadu Buhari as a GOC of the 2nd Division to send them out of Nigeria. Muhammadu Buhari went on that task. The assignment was to chase them out of Nigeria. But he pursued them beyond Nigerian borders up to 27 kilometers to N'Djamena. So after that, he was ordered back because there was a protest from the United Nations because we were not at war with the Chadian Republic. After that, there was a continuous militarization of that area around Lake Chad. You remember there was a long war in Chad, which is still there. It's still there. And there was a war too in Central African Republic, which is just across the border with Cameroon. There has been a buildup of military formations, military forces around that region for a long time. Now, in 2006, these military incursions changed their nature. Mohammed Yusuf gathered his men to challenge the police around Borno State, Gombe State, Bauchi State, and so many of the surrounding states, Adamawa State, Northern Adamawa State. But the police treated him with a very heavy hand. The result was that Mohammed Yusuf was killed extrajudicially. He was captured, quite all right, but instead of sending him to trial, he was murdered by the police. The police did not want.
This was when again, sir?
This was about 2009, but the whole thing started in 2006.
Oh, okay.
So Boko Haram was formed after that time. Boko Haram started out as an Islamist force, as an Islamist insurgency force, just another example of the Mujahideen. But guess what? Boko Haram infiltrated the Nigerian armed forces. Put me on that. Boko Haram infiltrated the Nigerian armed forces. And a lot of Muslim officers and soldiers of the Nigerian army were sympathetic to the cause of Boko Haram and CR. So that infiltration divided the army, divided the armed forces, and worked against the fight against insurgency. Now, I must tell you that as at now, a lot of things has happened from that time till now. But I can tell you quite authoritatively that there are more Boko Haram operatives within the Nigerian armed forces than there are on the streets or in the bushes of Borno State. Yet there is a strong support.
That's a heavy one, sir. That's a very, very strong statement you just made.
Yes, yes. This is on record, Abi. I want you to quote me on that.
Okay.
So the Boko Haram wasn't acting alone, has never been acting alone after the murder of Mohammed Yusuf. Boko Haram acts with the inside knowledge of the Nigerian armed forces and the participation of many Nigerian army officers, particularly those who are Muslims, who are northern Muslims. That is why I told you that the insecurity in Nigeria is contrived. Because remove these internal traitors in the Nigerian army, Haram will be routed in no time. But unfortunately, other factors came into play. Number one, the civil war in Libya, which made possible the influx of guns and weapons and all kinds of weapons, all kinds of hand weapons into the Sahel area of West Africa, including the Sahel area of Nigeria, from Mauritania to Mali to Burkina Faso to Chad to Niger. There was and still are a great influx of weapons, particularly the AK-47 rifles. Libya was a highly militaristic state. So when Muammar Gaddafi was killed, there was a state of flux, there was crisis, factions upon factions. This made possible.
Can you sit up a little bit so we can see you more, sir?
Yes. This made possible the influx of weapons into West Africa, particularly Nigeria. And these weapons got into the hands of non-state fighters. These non-state fighters include Boko Haram, Ansaru, and the West African, other West African militant groups. Now, these same weapons got into the hands of herdsmen. Now, because of the presidency, during the presidency of Jonathan, these herdsmen and other West African fighters couldn't come into Nigeria. But because of the sympathetic attitude of the Buhari government to insurgency, a lot of them found their way into northern Nigeria and to the Nigerian space. Note, the biggest funding for Boko Haram comes from the Nigerian government. I can tell you that.
Really?
The biggest funding for Boko Haram and a lot of these insurgency forces come from the Nigerian government. And that is the attraction for these herdsmen and bandits to come into Nigeria, because the attraction is to get free money. They won't get money in Mauritania, they won't get money in Mali, they won't get money in Burkina Faso. But in Nigeria, they get money. And there is a...
yes.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. But Mr. Okoh, I just want you to pause for a minute. When you say that the greatest money for these criminals come from the Nigerian government, how so?
How?
Yes, sir. How so?
Yes. First of all, they make a lot of money from kidnapping and ransom payments. Secondly, they also make a lot of money from governments in the north for protection. You'll be surprised at that, won't you? They make a lot of protection money from governments, all the state governments in the northwestern states, including the northeastern states. They get protection money. Thirdly, they got a lot of funding from officers and men of the Nigerian armed forces who are themselves Islamists, like the Boko Haram. They've got a lot of weapons, a lot of funding. And lastly, they got a lot of funding from secret government channels. That is how they get their money. If it wasn't money, a lot of the headers, a lot of the headsmen, a lot of the bandits wouldn't be in Nigeria. I can tell you that.
So if I'm correct, I would say that what you are saying is that the federal government of Nigeria is in cahoots with this terrorists and bandits and herdsmen. They're in cahoots, kind of.
Yes. Let's qualify that. The government has state policy. As state policy, they don't work with Boko Haram. But there are many elements in government, many high-ranking officers and men, politicians and soldiers in government, officers in government who work with Boko Haram. Boko Haram eventually gets a large slice of the budgets of these government agencies. That's the truth.
So what is the profit? What is the gain? What is the agenda of the federal government and all these military guys in backing?
The purpose is one, the agenda is one. While Boko Haram was fighting for itself to impose Islamism, Islamic doctrine and Islamic ways of life, Islamic control of government. That is the purpose of Boko Haram and other Ansaru and the West African forces. But the Buhari government has its own agenda, different from Boko Haram. The Buhari government has its own Fulanization agenda to convert Nigeria to Fulani governed and controlled territory. And it has come in so many different ways, using the Boko Haram and Islamic fighters, using government policy to forcefully take land in southern Nigeria, using government policy to seize all handguns and weapons from southern holders. As soon as Buhari came in, that was one of the first policies, one of the first things he implemented, to make the police seize all handguns so that the people of the South remain undefended, one and all. So there are two purposes, and the problem has been how to merge these two purposes. Boko Haram, pure Islamic practices, but Buhari governments and elements within the political circle want Fulani oligarchy in Nigeria. They have not been able to reconcile these two cross purposes.
So do you think they are succeeding in this their agenda?
Yeah, they are succeeding. I was in Central African Republic. I saw the devastation costs, which the country has not yet recovered from. They are succeeding, but not as smoothly as they thought. There are pockets of resistance, particularly from the Yoruba establishment, which they take more seriously. Because apart from Yoruba having a mixture of Muslims and Christians, the Yoruba territory also controls the economy of Nigeria. And they are quite cognizant of that fact. All Fulani investments are located in Fulani territory, particularly Lagos, Ogun State. So you must understand what they, you say?
I said you mean Southwest Territories.
Yes, Southwest Territory. That is the reason why they are a little circumspect about dealing with the Southwest. Because if the Southwest ruptures, their own plans will rupture. But then the Buhari government is succeeding and failing in so many other aspects. That is the state we are now. The government still has the power to impose a lot of trouble on Nigeria before the end of Buhari's tenure. But the fear is that there may not be a handover of political power. That is the ultimate fear.
That is the ultimate. Do you think it's just the fact that they have their the government, the Fulani people? Do you think it's because of the fact that they have their investments in the Southwest, right? That's the one of the
no, the investment, Fulani investments in the Southwest is historical. Lagos used to be the capital of Nigeria, where everybody goes to do business. So it's historical. That's where the ports are. That's where the banks are. That's where commerce is. So the incidence of the Southwest control of the economy is historical, but the Fulani are actually taking advantage of that.
Yes, I was going to ask you this because this is not scripted. This is just like a chat. I didn't prepare any questions. I didn't send you any questions.
Yes,
it's a non-scripted conversation.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, but yes. I think the last time you and I spoke, I wanted to ask you this. What do you think about the fact that these Fulani people are Nigerians as well, but it seems like they are not, their allegiance is not to Nigeria. Their allegiance, their patriotism is not to Nigeria and to Nigerians. Because from what you were saying, and from Buhari's antecedent, remember in 1985, he voted for a Fulani man to become is it the secretary of the Organization of African Unity, instead of voting for an Igbo man who happens to be a Nigerian. So when you look at this kinds of antecedents and the fact that we have, in the military echelon, people that are sympathetic to the terrorists, which of course, when everybody looks at what is going on in Nigeria, we understand that before the Kaduna train incident, the security agencies informed the Nigerian military, but nothing was done. The Kuje one as well, nothing is done. And if I am correct, Nigeria remains the only country that, if I'm right, that you have mass terrorists attacking a school. When I say mass terrorism, they're on their motorcycles in their hundreds, attacking schools, attacking hospitals, villages, without anything happening, without being caught. And they will move their captors, their captives. They move them back to their base without incident, without being stopped. So when we look at this, it definitely seems to me that these Fulanis, or most of these people in government, they are not Nigerians, unquote, because they are more clannish than nationalists. What do you think, sir? What do you think about that?
What I told you last time, the Fulani man has no nation. He has no obligation to any nation. He has no sense of nationhood. The only nation he knows is Fulani. and Fulani has no territory.
Mr. Okoh? Hello, Mr.
Fulani
We
has
lost
a
you.
sense of patriotism to any nation.
What you said? Can you repeat what you said because we lost you?
Yes, I said Fulani has no sense of nationhood. They are not, they have no obligation, no sense of belonging to any nation.
Mm.
They are wandering people, they have no land anywhere.
Mm.
They have land, a little land in Guinea, in the Futajalon area. Otherwise, they are wandering people, following cattle everywhere. They have no sense of patriotism to any nation. Their nation is Fulani, and Fulani has no land. They don't have any land to call their own. Even the Roro Fulani in Adamawa, they fluctuate. They move around between Cameroon and northern Nigeria. They don't have a sense of nationhood. So they have no obligation to Nigeria. Their obligation to Nigeria, their commitment to Nigeria is to the government, control of the government. Fulani has no industry, no business, nothing, except government. Government is Fulani business. Outside government, Fulani has no obligation to. So what it takes to hold down the government, they will do. Whatever, even if it's not concerned on Fulani, their ambition is to keep a stranglehold on the government of Nigeria. You can say 2 months ago, they had a meeting in Nigeria. All over. They have a watch of about 55 years from all these opacity in NPC. Where do you think the money is going to? NPC is not remitting any single dollar to the account anymore, to the government anymore. Since the last month.
I think your connection is not bad. So I don't know whether it's your positioning or I barely hear what you were saying. Can you hear me now, sir? Mr. Okoh, can you hear me? Okay, you may disconnect and rejoin. Maybe to resolve the problem. Thank you. Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Okoh, can you hear me, sir? We can't hear you. Are you muted? We can no longer hear you. We've lost your. We've lost you. Do you want to disconnect so you can rejoin us? Maybe that will solve it. Hello, Mr. Okoh?
Mr. Okoh, this is George. I have to just look on your screen, sir. At the top, at the bottom left of your screen, you'll see like a mic icon. Can you make sure that there's no red line over the mic? So what you need to do is that you need to press on that mic, and that should bring your audio back, except you're physically disconnected. So right now you're mute, you want to click it again? Okay, fine. Can you say something so let's see we can hear you? Okay, I suggest you unplug your headsets from your phone and plug it back.
It's been unplugged.
Okay, sounds good. Oh yeah, you're reconnected now, sir. Thank you,
Are
sir.
you hearing me now? The headphone is unplugged.
Yeah, so we can hear you now. Thank you, sir.
We can hear you now. If you want to put your headphones.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Go ahead. Yes.
Yes, I was telling you that the Fulani have no obligation to any country. They don't have a country. They don't have a sense of nationhood. That sense of nationhood is Fulani. It is not to territory. It is not to any territory, but to Fulani. So Fulani are like people who come in and seize the reins of government. They did that in Central African Republic until they were chased out. They did that in 1804, and they are still here. So Fulani has no sense of nation. If it's not the they have is government. They don't have industry, they don't have anything. The only business they have is government. So outside of government, Fulani is not interested. They want to hold government. And by holding government, they want to hold on to the revenue of the country. That is Fulani politics for you. In conquering northern Nigeria from 1804, using the name of Islam, they held the over 40 million Hausa people hostage, and they still hold them hostage. And it is the hostage on the Hausa people that they use their population figures, the Hausa population figures, to control the rest of Nigeria. That is Fulani politics. Nothing beyond that, yes. They don't have interest in commerce, they don't have interest in education, although there are so many Fulani people who are educated, but they don't have interest in educating northern Nigeria. Their interest is to live off the sweat, the wet of southern Nigeria. Have I answered your question?
You have. Very, very much so. Thank you very much. This is very scary because if I can read between the lines of what you just what you've been saying and what you just said, so we are being governed by people who are not patriotic to Nigerians, who are not non-Nigerians. When I say non-Nigerians, we already know that the
Fulani can never be loyal to any country. I told you maybe when the mic was off that the Fulani summit was held in Nigeria more than 2 months ago. What the Fulani plan to do now is to use Nigeria as their homeland. Conquer the people of Nigeria, use the wealth of Nigeria to advance the cause of Fulani, use the territory of Nigeria as the homeland of Fulani They now understand that the wandering life, the life chasing grazing ground all around, is no longer tenable in the 21st century. So they are going to use your land to become their own fatherland. It is the reason why the Ruga policy was enunciated. It is the reason also why the rivers and riverbank policy was enunciated. It's the reason why so many programs was initiated by the Buhari government to own grazing land, to change the nativity of people in Nigeria. That is the reason.
This is deep. It is very, very deep, because even me, I'm learning a little bit more about this group, this ethnic group called the Fulani. So if we're
Please speak up so I can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me better? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you faintly. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I said this is very in the sense that we are being governed by people who are not patriotic, because obviously the way Buhari's government has been governing the country, his appointments are always and only Fulanis in all the powerful positions, in all the important positions. It's all about the Fulani. So that's why I said it's scary when you think about the fact that the Fulani's antecedents are not to be loyal, to have allegiance to any other nation apart from Fulani. So what then is how can I put it? What is the solution? How do we get out of this? Because obviously Nigeria is a very attractive country to them.
I will retell the story of the Central African Republic. Nigeria is even getting off lightly. Before the revolution in Central African Republic, before the revolt of the indigenous, 87% of all the officers in the Republic's armed forces were Fulani. 80% of all government officers from the post of directors were all Fulani. In fact, the turn was to make it 100% Fulani. Fulani controlled the mining business all over Central African Republic before the revolution. They control the foreign exchange market 100%, 100%. They control all external businesses 100%. That is where Nigeria is going towards now. Most of Nigeria's foreign currency, foreign exchange, are bought by the Fulani, even in Nigeria today. It is only them you see selling foreign exchange everywhere in Nigeria. Of course, you know that. The armed forces now are so deeply controlled by the Fulani, which is the reason why many middle belt and southern officers don't want to fight anymore. You see them, they are in the front, but they don't fight. They tell you, I can't fight, because junior Fulani officers are either promoted above them or given responsibilities higher than their ranks. So they are going, we are still at a manageable space now. But then if Buhari is allowed to continue, or if he is allowed to realize his plans, it will get worse. And the plan is to cause a confusion, a mighty confusion, a state of flux going into the 2023 election, so that there will be no election. What will happen will be a coup led by the Fulani. What is likely to happen?
Wow. So that's what I was actually I was actually going to ask you again. I mean, next that this is a political season in Nigeria. The presidential election is holding next year, and we have three candidates. And I had a chat with Chief Olufalai about 3 weeks ago regarding this. And one of the concerns he spoke about when I asked him that what does he think is going to happen, because what does he think about the Igboho movement and the Nnamdi Kanu movement, because they were threatening, now it's kind of simmered down a little bit, but they were threatening there wasn't going to be an election in 2023 because of their agitations. That's because for another reason. It wasn't because of anything. And Chifalai pointed out that it is not, he wasn't concerned about the Igboho movement or the Kanu movement regarding the 2023 elections. He was more concerned. He is more concerned about the Fulanis and the terrorists, the herdsmen, and all that, making the election possible. That they might be the one that is going to stop the elections in 2023. And you just talked about that as well. So, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, thank God I'm not the only one who has such fears. A prominent and eminent personality like Chief Falai, who knows the inside workings of government, if he has those fears, then we truly have something to fear. You see, nobody knows the heart of Muhammadu Buhari. Nobody, not even his wife or his children. Nobody knows his heart. Nobody really understands his game plan. He's allowing things to happen now, political things to happen. But I don't think he will be faithful to those political happenings to the end. At the last moment, he will spring a surprise. You can see what happened in the primaries. They let PDP have their primaries first. It was a deliberate plan. And then after spending a lot of money, they allowed Tinubu to win. It is all in the plan. Let things keep going on as they should. Let there be complete semblance of fairness and security, so that when what is going to happen does happen, you will not blame. The whole purpose of the Kuje jailbreak was to free the terrorists. That was the only purpose, nothing else. The whole purpose of the train hijack between Abuja and Kaduna was to take was to take abductees to blackmail the government to release the Boko Haram prisoners at Kuje. It's not so much the money, but to release their men at Kuje prison. A lot of their men who were retrained and reintegrated into the armed forces have all drifted back to Boko Haram with better training from the Nigerian army. So you must begin to understand, they have all drifted back. There is a deep-seated plan, and it will be the final push of the Fulani against the Nigerian people. So the solution really, I don't think there's any much solution. The solution really is to keep playing along. Let Peter be, let Atiku Abubakar, let Bola Tinubu. You can see that Atiku Abubakar is not investing so much money in this campaign. Have you noticed?
Yes. He's not even in Nigeria.
Atiku Abubakar is not even. Have you heard from him since?
No.
Nobody hears from him. He's not investing so much time and effort and money into this campaign. He's just siphoning the wealth of Delta State.
He's even
So they know.
Yeah.
They know what is going to happen, or they have laid a trap somewhere along the line just by the elections. But the point is that, as it happened in Central African Republic, you can make all the plans. Fulanis don't know how to fight. That's what our people still haven't got. Fulani don't fight back. Fulani attacks you and take you completely unawares. To go on a battlefield and exchange fire, Fulani they wait for you to sleep. When you are asleep, they raid you and kill you. They don't fight. So that would be their fundamental weakness. When it comes, thank God Nigerian youth are being mobilized now, whether P2B for whatever. A lot of Nigerian youth are being fired up, being mobilized. When it does happen, they will see hell.
So the now lies in the hands of the youth.
Yes.
So that brings me to asking you, if the election does take place, who do you
say?
think? I said, so that brings me to the question I've been dying to ask you. That if the election does take place, who do you think is going to be the winner? Who do you think is going to, be the president?
My friend, by a long mile, by a very long mile, it's going to be Peter Obi. Peter Obi will win the ballots. But then the results may never be declared. I cannot imagine myself seeing Buhari ceding power to Peter Obi. Something must happen at that time. Atiku is not campaigning. Tinubu doesn't have a lot of followers anymore in the north. Although as time goes on, maybe I think Atiku will get into the heat of it. But then, do you know how many new registrations for elections have been made in the space of 8 weeks? About 15 million.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That about 15
Yes.
million, yes.
So by a lot of these new registrations are people who are shouting the name of Peter Obi. But then, well, Abiola was a Muslim, as well as a known established political figure. But Babangida wouldn't hand power over to him. Not to talk of a man like Peter Obi. Let's keep watching.
That's very deep. That's very, very deep.
Thank you very much.
So what do you think the world can do about it? Should he not want to hand over to an eventual winner like Peter Obi? If Buhari does not want to hand over,
why do you think he's obliged to hand over to an eventual winner? Supposing he doesn't.
Yeah.
Supposing there is a crisis and they cannot find anybody to hand over to.
I think Buhari did, Babangida did that and he found out. And, you said something earlier, because this fear is being anticipated in a lot of quarters. And I have had the opportunity of speaking to a few people who are in the know. And what I've been made to understand is that this possibility is not lost on Nigerian, Southwestern politicians. And they are preparing themselves for it. In the sense that, like what the Nadeko people did there, they crippled the economy. Everybody sat at home. They brought the government down, Babangida's government. He had nowhere to run to. He had no choice but to hand over to Soneko. And that plan is being is in the cooler now. They might bring it back up. Should in case Buhari decides not to hand over power to an Obi presidency, And that, I'm saying, I know a few GOs now that are going about in the West about this possibility. What will the Western governments do? How are they going to, you know?
Wait, my friend,
Yes.
Mr. Dada,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dada, we
Yes.
always have this weakness. We expect other governments to do for us what we ought to do for ourselves. Why are you bringing in Western governments? Why are you bringing Western governments are never going to come here to let their people die for you. They let their soldiers die for you. They will take the stronger force and support him. Eventually, the agitations against Babangida because of Abiola, did it succeed? Babangida got away with what he did. They knew crisis was coming. Just like now, Buhari knows a heavy crisis will come. That's why they are keeping a war chest. They know that the people won't take it easy. That's why they will divide. In fact, the army is already divided. But if better fighting men as of Southern and Middle Belt origin, they know. But that won't stop them from making a play for it. My friend, don't expect any Western government to intervene in Nigeria because 200 million people, man. If you have an army of 500,000, will you bring 50,000 here? And 50,000 soldiers in Nigeria is a drop in the ocean. You can only counsel and influence people. You can't do anything. The Fulani don't care about your economy. They don't. They are not, apart from Dangote, they are not economic participators. They don't participate in the economy. Theirs is just to take offices and run it the way they want for the benefit of Fulani. You should be looking at the possibility of Nigerian people being angry at the same time. All nations, all groups, all regions being angry at the same time and saying, no, we cannot take this. That is the solution, not Western government. No Western government will come here. Western governments are only scared of a population, of a refugee situation in Africa, starting from Nigeria. 200 million people hitting the forests of the whole of Africa. That will bring a crisis, unimaginable crisis. That's what the Western governments want to prevent. So if it takes forcing the rest of the people to obey the Fulani, live under the slavery of the Fulani, they will do it, as long as it keeps the refugees within Nigerian territory. Do you know if Ogun State moves into, only Ogun State moves into Benin Republic, they have completely overwhelmed the government. They have overwhelmed Benin. They are more than the population of Benin Republic.
Very true.
Do you know that?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yes. Imagine only 500,000 people moving into Ghana. That is what they want to, that is what the Western governments want to prevent. That is what they are committed to. So if it means supporting the Fulani to keep oppressing us, fine, as long as they don't have a crisis in their hands.
But then, that was where I was going, that, you know, the intent would be win. Because you yourself, you made mention of the fact that the Nigerian youths they are seriously involved. And they see this as an opportunity for them to deal with APC and PDP and get this old bald-headed man, get him off.
Yes, without handover to P2B, there's nothing he can do. He has to, power has to be transferred to him first.
What I'm saying is, should in case he wins, and Buhari decides not to hand over power to him, this kid, you know, we saw what they did during the EndSARS.
Yes.
But this may be a different ball game from the EndSARS.
Yes, it definitely will be.
Yeah, they
Yes.
cannot. If they decide to face Abuja and face Asoro, face the guns and all that. Look at what happened in Sri Lanka a couple of days ago.
It's
You
still
know,
happening, right? Yes, yes.
it's still happening now. They can keep this man out of office and all this.
Let me tell you,
Yeah,
there is a very easy way to divide Nigerian people, Nigerian youth particularly. You bring religion, you bring ethnicity. You have divided them. He's not a Muslim. He's not a Christian. He's not a Muslim. He's an infidel. Why would you join an infidel to fight? That's why the North particularly didn't take the NSAS movement seriously. It started hot in the North, but they used the same old tricks.
and you think this playbook is still going to work in 2023 because we see northern youths now actually they are campaigning, spending their own money, campaigning for Obi and for the movement. They are doing a lot of things. Of course, you will know more because you're on the ground.
Yeah, the Obi movement, a lot of Northern educated people are now telling them, look, support for a Muslim or a Northerner or a Hausa or Fulani means nothing to you. It doesn't change the quality of bread you eat. It doesn't put bread on your table. So let us forget about this and look at how to build the economy. I think a lot of Northern youth are beginning to understand that. What has Buhari done to you? That's what they're asking now. What has Buhari done for you? Compare the regime of Buhari and Jonathan. Which was better for you?
Yes.
But you see, let me tell you something a lot of us have not realized. The Fulani oligarchy is fighting for its life this time. They would rather break the table than lose. Because if you remove government from the Fulani, how do they survive? What do they do? And their culture has no other thing but control. Atavism, destroy. They don't build, they destroy. They don't, the Fulani have never built an empire. They destroy. They don't build. They don't have the culture of, do they build houses? They don't build houses.
They are normal. They just walk around the bushes with their cows.
Have you seen a Fulani man leading cattle and the rain comes? Do you know what he does? There is a leather pouch, a leather bag they carry. They spread it on the rain-drenched ground and lie on it and use it to cover themselves against the rain. They sleep in that rain. Do you understand? Fulani does not know how to keep property. They don't keep, even when they come to Lagos, they don't rent houses. Have you seen a Fulani man as a tenant somewhere paying rent? They don't build. If there's a crisis in Lagos now, they all run with their cattle or with whatever. From that point, they enter a truck and move back to the north. They don't own property. They don't believe in property. They don't have that culture of building anything. So this country goes to places, it's no concern of theirs.
The picture you are painting is very green. It's not a very good one, but I believe that Nigerians will survive.
My phone is running out of power now.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Okoh. It's such a pleasure having you here. I know we can go on and on and on. And like I said, it's a very, very dire situation that we found ourselves in Nigeria. But man proposes, God disposes. They can have their plans from here till till kingdom come. When their time is up, it's up. If they can be dealt with and chased out of Congo, I'm sure we can do better in Nigeria. We can do the same. because of.
Let me give you my closing remark. The Fulani are the easiest people to expel from Nigeria. In Bangui, it took street gangs to chase and defeat the army. They started the fighting. They didn't even know they could fight with guns and what they later called Sakabulas. Sakabula is a name given in Bangui. They took guns and faced up to the army. They started about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. By 5 p.m., they were in the presidential palace. And President Michel Jotodia had run away. So the Fulani are not difficult. It is the coming together of our people to take action that is the difficulty. The difficulty is not chasing the Fulani out, but they will always do something to divide us.
Very, very interesting. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Okoh. You've enlightened us and the audience about this people, this ethnic group, and what they are unleashing on Nigeria. And I say that without fear of being accused of being an ethnic, bigot. I'm not. I'm a Nigerian, and my allegiance is to Nigerians and Nigerians.
Yes.
And I'm a patriotic Nigerian. I have nothing against the Fulani, but the Fulani, it seems, have everything against the Nigerians. And we must actually do something about that. We must fight back. And, because when you look at Buhari's appointments, his body language, and what has been going on, it seems that everything we've been talking about this morning aligns with the fact that there must be an agenda. There must be a reason, because nobody believes that the Fulani cannot be kicked out of Nigeria within a week, if the government really means that. So hopefully, Nigeria will come out of the grips of this blood-sucking.
A lot of things are coalition. Yes. Things will work out. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoh. It's a pleasure having you on this program. And maybe, I hope you come back. Maybe.
Always.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thank you for joining us on this program, Matters Arising with Ayo Dada. I hope to see you next time. Have a great week ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.